Mr. Eggplant presents...
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thanks for checking out yet another Mythic Plus video here on my channel. And this is actually from a couple of weeks ago. It's been kind of a heck of a last couple of weeks trying to get a new car, working some more hours at work to try to make up for said car payments. But I am finally got the chance to record over some of these older recordings. So this is a Mythic Plus 10 Motherlode. We have our affixes being tyrannical, we have raging, we have volcanic, and we have beguiling. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the new Season 3 affix, which replaced the Season 2 reaping, which is beguiling for Season 3, and we have 3 different emissaries of Ashar that will be present in the dungeon. They change every week. Though in Motherlode 10 plus for this certain week, the emissaries would always be in the same spot, but they do switch every week after that. So you can't just like always plan for them until you've seen them for the first time. So there's 3 different ones, as I said. The Emissary of Tides just burst her down. Like you just focus her. Everything around her cannot be interrupted. So just burst her out and stun. I think stuns will still work if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I didn't just lie to you there. I don't have stuns that I use myself since I'm not a beast mastery hunter. But the other one there is the emissary or the enchanted emissary. She cannot take damage, but everything in that bubble that she has cannot be crowd controlled at all. Cannot be CC'd. But if you do damage to her, she doesn't take damage, but she gets knocked back, and she has to be in combat for 30 seconds before she will just automatically port away. So like I said, she doesn't take damage, and she just takes a little bit. I think it's either 20 or 30 seconds on how long she's around. But you'll just notice once her energy bar depletes, then she will disappear.
That's cool.
And then the other one is the Void Touched Emissary, and she actually she does this long cast AoE ability, which as a marksman hunter you can actually outrange. If you stand at your max range, shouldn't hit you with it. But if she puts a stacking dot on you that makes you take significantly more damage, so like you can take one hit of her damage, and unless you've got stuff pulled on you, you're not going to die. But if you get hit by that second one, you're going to need a big cooldown, or otherwise you will die. So you're going to see a few cuts here. We were trying some new things, because this was actually the first 10 that we had done as a group, and we tried to just pull some things back into this room. It didn't work out as well as we had hoped, but that's why I'm just going to cut through here as we continue moving forward in the dungeon. I forgot to mention, the group that we're running with, like I said earlier, is the normal suspects. We've got Murdoch on his rogue. We've got Cinderai on his Havoc Demon Hunter, and Durs is actually on his Brewmaster Monk tanking. He did a great job in this dungeon. JB on his Resto Druid, of course. He's actually been doing some tanking lately, as well as some Boomkin, if you guys remember watching my raid videos. So hopefully we can see him maybe even tank some in some of these future videos. And then myself on my Marksman Hunter. So item level in this video, I believe it's 417, 418, somewhere in there. I'm not super geared yet. I'm still not. I'm currently, as I'm recording this, on the 5th, I am still only 424. So I'm a little bit behind the gear curve, so to speak. Neck level, though, I believe I am either 59 or 60, because the flame ability there is my major essence that I'm using. It's a single target essence, and I was running it because I knew we weren't going to pull big as I get stuck on that flamingo there, and I knew that it was tyrannical, so boss damage is what I really needed to bring, as I accidentally pulled that extra group. That's why I don't tab target half the time. It never wants to work. As you can see, we got all those explosives on there. And by the way, this was the week where if you got one of those explosives low but didn't kill it, it would actually rage and one-shot your group. We had that happen in this. I believe it was in this video that we actually had. We had a explosive that was raging go off and just decimate us for like 400k. So you'll see in the the deaths meter, you'll see it all of a sudden where we'll have like 4 or 5 just because it happened. Like craziness. So we're just moving up here to the first boss, and my build, as for Azerite traits, I'm doing 2 in the rhythm, 2 focus fire, and 2 unerring vision. So I still love unerring vision. I really want 3, but I got a 445 helm that had 2, or it was I think it's the one out of Temple of Sephiroth, and it was just really good, and I didn't want to not use it since it was 445. So on this fight, we are going to lust up here as soon as he's trying to kill us with the claw. Kick the bomb there, 3, 2, 1, and hit him. And then we'll lust, that way we're doing that extra damage. As you can see, our damage has already skyrocketed. Like, we're going to get up to like 60, 70k, I think, at one point. Like, we're at 55 right now, and we're not doing too much yet. So I want to make sure and just chain as many aim shots in as possible, especially because this is Tyrannical Week. And that boss has so much else. This guy, I mean, this boss already has too much health away, or it has a lot more health, just because he does take that 300% increased damage. So we've got the static pulse here. We'll kick it at the last second. Make sure we get the most out of those dots that get put on the boss. So we're just going to continue to do damage to him. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. The only thing I could say as a marksman hunter to make this fight easier is whenever he's going to do his knockback, make sure you're either using rapid fire or you're using your steady shot, because those will not, though you can move and use those. So unlike your aim shot, it's not going to do anything to you. As I think I'm just going to eat this. Yes. So I ate that like a champ, of course. Use my pocket heal to full. Where if I hadn't had my neck level as high as I was with that extra stamina, I would have died there. Straight up. I was in a bad spot, but I wanted to make sure and get that bomb hit on the boss. That way we could, clear this in a timely manner. And I didn't die. We'll save that for later when I die in the last boss. Spoiler alert. So this boss is almost down. We're doing like 48-ish K. I could be doing a lot more, and once I get another unerring vision, I really think that I'll start cracking those 50, especially on this boss, like 50k. I could probably do 35 or 36k on a single target boss, especially if they were just a not a tyrannical, but if it was just a bolstering, or not bolstering, fortified week, excuse me. So we're just going to go up through there, just burst down the Emissary of the Tides as quick as possible. And of course, I'm just AoEing. Like, this build is really good for AoE as well as single target. I have succeeded at finding a build that I can be completely lazy with. Because if you guys have watched any of my videos at all, you know that I'm very lazy when I play. I want a build that's going to work majority for everything. The very few things I would change is actually one of the essences. So in my previous Mythic Plus video, I posted a +10 two-chested Shrine of the Storms. I kind of had some people say, well, you kind of did some low damage in that one. Well, to be honest, I wasn't prepared to have a really good group that's going to pull like 20 or 30 mobs. Something I'm just not used to. And there is the Focusing Iris essence is amazing. It does so much burst damage, especially if you're going to pull large packs. See, this is about as big as a pack that we would pull. So I don't know if I would use it on a week like this, as we lose our tank there. I was talking him up pretty good earlier. But I would have probably, as like JB said as well after I was talking to him too, even as the healer, he would have ran with that essence. Just because it does an amazing amount of damage. Like the first pull in Shrine of the Storms, our Paladin tank pulled that entire room, and we decimated it. We had a Demon Hunter that was doing like 400k DPS. Just because of this essence. Like the essence for the entire run did more damage than any of his abilities. So when you think of Demon Hunter, you immediately think of, lots of ticks of Eye Beam, or something of that nature, whereas the essence itself did like 14% of his damage overall for the entire dungeon, which was very nice. And got another guy dead. As you guys are going to find out, if you can't hear already, we may or may not have a few people that are a little drunk. At least one I know for sure is in our run here. And I'm actually on the third boss. If you guys only watch that, I will put a link, a timestamp in the description of this video or in the comments even, to just check out the third fight and listen to Murdoch freak out about how my damages went up, because this is actually me unlocking my minor essence during this week. So from the week prior to this one, that was what, the 22nd, I think, up there. From the 22nd, from the week before to the 22nd, I had gotten my minor trait, and my damage went through the roof because of how many more true shots I can get out in the same time frame. And as you see there, look at our death indicators. We actually had, this is where in the dungeon we had the enraged explosive go off, and it just completely decimated us. Hit everybody with like 490k. It was crazy. It even one-shot the tank. The reason I knew it was around 490k, for one, it told me, but he has what, like 318, 380k, somewhere like that, and he even had a decent stagger, and it still killed him. So it was hitting pretty hard. So we're just moving up here to the second boss so far. And make sure we just take out the Taskmaster here. And this dungeon is really good for AoE comps. We have a pretty good AoE comp. And I think that if we, as a group, we could all get rank 2 focusing Iris, we would be just doing amazing in this dungeon, or in most of our dungeons. In fact, I think I will be running like a Tolda Gore 12 or 13 later on today here. What is it, the 5th I said? I believe this video will go out today, though, to where like some of these essences are game changing. I know that JB, he's been pushing in arenas. I think he got up to like 16 or 1700, nothing crazy. But there are these essences right now make things so like bursty, especially since BFA really hasn't been that way. So I'm gonna use my pocket heal there, where BFA has been pretty much like nothing really bursty, just because of the way like global cooldowns work, that sort of thing. Well, like you can go into an arena and just get completely decimated by like rogues or a paladin or just about anybody who uses some of these certain essences and trinkets, which is kind of cool but kind of scary at the same time. Not like I'm going to be going into arenas anytime soon, other than maybe to at least get at 1,000 rating, just so I can get my next essence. We'll move all these guys together. And luckily for our group here, I can pretty much kite these till the cows come home, as they say, to where just focus the one that's in power that takes the more damage, kill it, and then move to the next one. And then the only difference on this fight for between season 2 and 3 is that the boss actually every time he calls for a new little minion, he calls 2 instead of 1. That's the only difference. So I'll finish taking out this Rager here, and then we'll move on to Azerite. So I had been running with Azerite's Resounding Heart. It's still a good trinket. It is a mastery-based trinket that procs like once a minute. It procs a large amount of agility, and it is pretty good. But I have, well, in this video I might still be using it, but I will be using the Dribbling Ink Pot. I know for sure. I can see it up there as the buff. I got a 435 version from Raid off of Orgazoa. It's a really good trinket. Increases your DPS by like 1.5k, like just when it procs at 30% health, which is really nice. And then I will be running later on with Ashvane's Razor Coral. However, I don't know if I should be running with it in Mythic Plus, just because I don't, well, for me at least the way I play, I don't use it as much as I should. Because the way I have been using the Ashvane's Razor Coral is I'll use it just before, I'll start out with the fight. I'll go like aim shot into rapid fire, and then while rapid fire is casting, I'll do like racial. Then I'll use the trinket, and then I'll use my flame, my concentrated flame there, and then I'll start using my true shot for the first time, and then every time after that I'll let it stack up, and I won't rip the Razor Coral out, until just before I use my next true shot. So I'll make sure I'm close to focus cap as possible, and then I'll rip out the razor coral, and then we'll immediately start doing some good damage and getting that extra crit. So as you can hear, Whittier just joined us. So she is our other. There we go, 417. There's my item level. So Whittier is joined us here in the Discord, and she is a healer that we randomly found on a terrible, terrible key. Like we were hardcore trolling on a plus 13, I think, underrot, and she was gracious enough to continue to stick with us. She seemed to like our group at least, and we're pretty chill and laid back. So it was always nice that we gained a new key runner should anybody not be around, especially me, because the way my work schedule has worked out recently, I have been like, I can do one key and that's it. So I'm glad that they have somebody else to fill in that void, because we really don't like, or at least I really don't like pugging. Like you'll rarely see me pug a Mythic Plus. I'll do it with my group and that's about it. So we're just going to continue on. We start running to the left side. Make sure that we don't aggro too much. We'll get up here to the force cannon guys. Just want to make sure and interrupt the transmute or whatever. There you go. You just saw it pop up there. That's the only thing on this stuff. I mean, we've been doing this for 3 seasons now, or 2 seasons and what, a third of another already maybe, where I mean, they don't change too much. The beguiling doesn't change too much. At least on this current week, it didn't. I could see where it could maybe mess some things, especially if you got a bad emissary in a spot where you can't deal with it, i.e., like the void touch. If you would have no line of sight, something you could line of sight behind. If you didn't have the DPS just burster down after 1 or 2. But with essences, I find that to be less and less of an issue. So we'll just finish this up here, and we're going to be getting up to the 3rd boss. So like I said, you guys definitely want to watch that 3rd boss, just because you get to hear Murdoch talk at me a bit. He was quite surprised at how my DPS had increased from 1 week to the other. But I will probably just stop talking until we get to that point. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far, and I'll see you after this 3rd boss.
That was your fault, Dave.
It was perfect, actually, John. Thank you. I was just about to pull them, and you did it. So you saved me.
Straight up my bad.
Watch the foreskin, guys.
Watch the foreskin.
Yeah.
Keep a clean void.
Which Motherlode are you guys doing?
10.
Just doing a 10.
Guess what key I have?
Motherlode 10. Nice. Alright, on this one, she reflects the damage, so you gotta let me... Right, here we go.
Admittedly, I don't quite understand.
And then we rush her, right?
Alright, now we got the things up against far one.
I've got an alchemist on me there, Dave. Can you...
Drop
I
down,
know.
John. I got the far one again.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
fuck.
I'm
Yep, got
toast.
it.
She's teleporting.
Yep, nice. Stacked up. Watch up the cannon. Got the explosive. Okay, I got aggro here.
You're the only one alive.
Yeah.
We're coming. We're coming.
Fuck. Nah. Damn
So
it.
what did we do wrong there?
Well, I had aggro for the first part there. Got me low. Then the force cannon hit me like right afterwards because I was trying to keep the emissary back.
We
I think
just
it's
rush
just
these
bad
guys now,
timing
eh?
on that one. So has anyone done a new raid yet?
Yeah.
Of course,
For the
Drex it
guy,
has. So, are you guys like? How do you guys feel about Boris Yeltsin or Yeltsin or whatever his name is?
I have no idea who that is.
Huh?
Theresa May's. She's basically
That's Boris
No.
Johnson.
Boris Johnson. What? Yeah.
The fuck
Oh,
you guys
okay.
I
talking
was gonna
about?
say, isn't he dead? Pretty sure he's dead.
My apologies.
Boris Johnson. Isn't he the UK's Donald Trump,
Yeah,
essentially?
You
but he's
know,
like,
becoming
right
prime
down to the yellow
minister this
hair.
week, I think.
I had a spider outside my window at work, and we named it Boris, and it died.
I have a large birthmark. Oh, I got the explosion.
Maybe it just wanted to come in from the cold. Oh, my bad.
Better. Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna
Three,
say that guy that
two,
was the paladin
one.
in our last group. He sounds like I always thought Greeley looked. Nah, just like the stereotypical Bible belter, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how to take that.
What the fuck are you using there, really? That you're 50 fucking K right now. What are you doing?
Beware.
No, you're fucking either you're fucking spending a lot of fucking money on fucking mats or something.
Beware.
No fucking way that you're.
All right.
You want to be.
Yep.
Well, some of us have fucking real jobs. What are you doing to fucking get 50K?
All right.
Someone's taking this a little too seriously.
Yeah.
Really, I love you.
Yeah, that was rude.
Your DPS is unreasonable. Is what I'm trying to say. It's unreasonable. I'm gonna put,
you sound
put a
angry.
ticket with Blizzard and say this guy's fucking DPS is unreasonable. Well, no, it's not being 100. There's something else going on. What are you doing? How are you fucking pulling 50K?
I mean, I can pull 50K on my boomkin sec right now. Yeah. Oh, good.
Beware.
She's down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, there's no way you're 10K over
Just kill
my
the
damage
you
just
just kill
based
the
on.
emissary.
Kill the emissary.
Yeah, just kill the emissary.
You're obviously doing something fucking different. So.
It's just essences, man.
All right. Well, Murdoch, it sounded like he was impressed by the increased damage that I had in my single target. It did help that I used a pre-pot, but you know, I was doing like Murdoch said, I was doing like 10K more than I was the week prior to, which is really cool. And I'm really hoping that I can get the right Azerite that I want that will allow me to increase that damage even more. And also a weapon would be a nice increase as well. Because in this video, I believe I have a 415 weapon, where now I have 425, and I'm really hoping that box will bless me with at least a 440 weapon. That would be amazing to have like a mythic quality weapon to do some serious damage with, since I don't think that my guild will be doing mythic content this tier. I don't think we're going to be doing that. We did Talak the first tier, first season, and then we didn't do Champions of the Light the second tier, and then I don't think we're going to be doing it this go around.
Too bad.
So we're finishing up this run here. Overall, it was a pretty good run. We are at 7 minutes and 42 seconds away from getting to the timer end, and we do end up timing this. It's very close, though. We didn't think we were going to initially. That way we kind of hurried the pulls along. But overall, I thought the damage was pretty good. Still getting used to beguiling and getting back used to my group comp again, because I'm always the single target guy who can also, it's a cleave single target, so I do single target damage on one thing. I just happen to spray and do 40% of that damage to everything else. Well, I need to start doing a better job of picking out a little bit different essences. I think the essences will be a big deal. As you saw, my neck level is 59. Finally saw that. Where the essences will be huge, and if everybody's running a certain essence like the focusing iris, you'll just be able to decimate these ginormous pulls. So if you're looking for a group to do that, or you want to push some higher keys, especially on weeks where you can just pull big groups, that would be a great idea. So we're just going to move up here to this final boss, and unfortunately I do die on this boss, but I will see you guys up there in just a second.
Thank you, Dave. You're like, it's just, if, yeah, never mind.
Oh, void touch. That was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We won't
just-
make it.
We're a little
Feels
behind
a bit
it.
silly because I've followed it closely enough, and nothing led me to believe that
This next,
finding those dailies was gonna mean your DPS is gonna be like fucking
What?
that much higher.
it's not dailies. It's any activity. Like most activities give essences.
Yeah, like this Mythic Plus, if we were to time it, would give you an essence.
They're just trying to. Shit. Yeah.
Kill the Emissary Tide first.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard. Okay. Good luck, everybody.
Not really, just nuke it, man.
Alright,
It's only,
Strikes is up.
it's only 800k,
Oh.
man. Okay, the explosive's gonna go off. Okay.
Yeah,
She's going.
hard to target them.
Sounds
Oh,
like
I've got
shot
a-
by Giant Darren.
You guys should get threat plates. You can customize the way things look.
Way things look. Good thing to have.
Yeah, so when an explosive comes out, it's like this big blue ass bar for me.
Yeah, no, mine's pretty much like that. It's just hard to.
All right, let's
Target
pull
sometimes.
directly. Let's just go, because we're getting pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yep. No,
All right, so we've got all the way up here. We only have the 12 deaths. Got up here at 405. And remember that this boss is tyrannical, so he's going to do more damage, has significantly more health. And of course, we got all those Boombas.
You know what?
If we see a bomb just running through there.
Everyone has the-
So this fight, if you can see there, we have our Bloodlust will be coming off of cooldown just in the time for us to use it later on whenever it does matter. But this Gatling gun, they changed its timings, I think, early Season 2, as I'm going to pull back this homing missile. That way it doesn't put a dot on anybody else, just me. But they changed the Gatling gun timings just a little bit. So once in a while, you'll be needing to move, but yet he'll be stationary, like he is right here. So we need to move him, but there we go. Almost die. Almost die. But we did have that Boomba there. So we're just going to get him to 50% to get him to his kind of intermission, so to speak.
He was like, fuck, simple.
So the Gatling gun's heading our way here. Luckily, it's going opposite of us, so we don't have to worry about taking the damage to the face. And as you just saw right there, you're better off sometimes, as I'm going to not die here. I found myself in a bad position, but I made sure and used my turtle there, where you want to make sure, as we get through here, we want to make sure and put yourself in a good position. And at the same time, if you find yourself out of position on that fight with the Gatling gun, and you're better off like running into it and taking a little bit of damage than trying to outrun it and it continually catching you and killing you. You'll see me die to the Gatling gun when I'm trying to get a few of my big abilities out. Let's use my pocket heal there. 200k pocket heal, so nice. Hard to believe. So I have 248k in this video. I have 296k with my 5% pet out. So I have like 285k or so now. So 40,000 more health is actually a pretty big deal. And my heal is percentage based on my health. So that pocket heal that I have heals me with my my Salve Azerite trait is healing me for like 200k or so. So we just got to finish off the boss here. We got 18 seconds left on our sated debuff before we just throw out all the big damage. And I've got a Boomba there in my face that I need to be watching out for. Luckily, I saw it there at the last second. And so I waited to use my true shot till after we were lusted and after I was to a point where I could be I could kind of just stand still, because that is important to get as many of those aim shots out as possible. So this is when our damage really does go up. And unfortunately, I almost took some extra damage from that. I'm going to get hit by that, and then I will take the last bit of the Gatling gun, unfortunately, because I did find myself in a bad spot. And you saw my heal. It was just off of cooldown. As I died, they res me up real quick. Still did some great damage overall for the dungeon. Did what, 28.3k for the dungeon overall. That's not terrible. We can definitely do better, and we can really only do better here. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and until my next live stream video, I'll see you later.